All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Just a little bit of technical difficulty, but
Always.
we're in the industry, we're used to winging that. So thanks for your patience. Today, welcome you to the do's and don'ts of selling your home. And today I have with me Nate Peterson. He is with Design That Sells, and also Mike Wilson with Ace Home Inspections.
Hi, guys.
And so today the focus is to give you seller tips, whether you're listing your home with a real estate agent or you might consider listing your home on your own. And so I'm going to go ahead and flip screens. Yep. And so here's the contact information. I'm just kind of getting used to this. So, and the big question is that a good time to sell? And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the stats that are out there, because really it's the data that speaks to the information I'm going to tell you about. And last year was a buyer's market. This year is a seller's market. Due to COVID, we have less inventory, which isn't a bad thing from the seller's perspective, because that gives you less competition for your home. So there's still a fair amount of buyers out there. And so this just really talks to the values. So the median sale price June last year was $234. This year, it's almost $260. So that really just speaks to that it's retaining home values due to the lesser inventory. Currently, right now, year-to-date June this year, 814 current listings, active listings. Last year, June to date, month to date, there was 1,095. So, you can really see that there are less listings out there, but that's to your benefit as a seller. Sold listings last year was 173. This year it's 212. So the market is certainly clipping along, maintaining home prices. So that's always good news from the seller side. And so we all know that there's a recession, going on right now, but it's not a housing crisis. Homeowners today, this slide just talks about how much homeowners are really sitting on a lot of equity. So they're cash rich. And so if you're looking back into 2008, the financial crisis, they were overextending themselves financially, owing too much to the bank, which is why the financial industry kind of flipped upside down. And this is just by Black Knight explaining why it's important to have a high level of equity. And basically it just keeps the banking industry and the mortgage industry stable. This is the last 5 recessions. And in the last 5 recessions between 1980 and 2008, the home values actually increased. And you can see that this year as well in the local Bismarck market, that home values are actually increasing year over year. I skipped that screen, but that's okay. I'm going to go to this screen. This is Goldman Sachs, and this is their forecast for the rest of the year. Q2, which has already passed us, we know that we were down. Q3, we are clipping upwards, and projections from Sachs is that by Q4, we are going to be upwards of 5% increase year over year. And so here, I just want to get right into it. The key factor for positioning your home on the market is price. Don't price your home too high, thinking that you want to start high so that you might get a buyer at a higher price. That just never happens in this market. Buyers are too savvy. They are on the internet. They are comparing homes home to home, and they know when a property is overvalued, and they will simply wait until the prices come down. So just make sure that you're doing your market research, that you know the comps in your neighborhood, that you know what homes are selling in your neighborhood. And then on top of that, know who your active competition is. And do expect to negotiate the price and know your numbers. And that means that you need to know what you need to have at closing, what your net proceeds, what you want them to be. And then from that point, negotiate the price as well as you can with the buyer. And if you get an offer that's a lowball offer, our tendency is to get a little emotional. Just try to stay unemotional it is an offer, and we want to try to entertain every offer and work their way upwards so that you two as buyer and seller can meet in the middle and hopefully have a win-win situation. The other thing that's really important is the marketing. Don't skip on your advertising. As an agency with Century 21 Morrison, we are advertising on over 400 websites throughout the world. And not only that, but we digitally target your advertising to that market that is looking at homes. Another question a lot of people wonder is how often or how much should I do a renovation in my home? They might be thinking, I might just replace my cupboards because I know they're really bad, and then I'm going to put my home on the market. That is never a good idea. It's always a better idea to conserve your money and your renovation dollars for things that cost less, that make the greatest impact. That'll be fresh coats of paint, a serious deep house cleaning, and replacing doorknobs, replacing lights, replacing cabinet knobs. Those things are less expensive that will still give you an updated look. Decluttering your home, and I know that Nate is going to talk a lot about this, and I'm sure you've heard this before. It is so important that you are decluttering and depersonalizing your home for the buyer. You want the buyer to look at your home and envision themselves sitting at your sofa, watching TV, or having their family around the dining table. And so it's really important you consider that when you're staging your home. And it would be, not in my best interest, I guess, to not talk to you about the value of using a real estate agent or using a real estate attorney. A real estate agent, they are familiar with the laws of real estate in North Dakota, and they know the laws of the city. And outside of that, they already have the marketing in place. They already know the professional photographers that they are going to use to position your home on the market. So always consider the value of a real estate agent and interview more than one, interview several, so you can choose the agent that you feel most comfortable with that will give you the best marketing and the best experience. And another thing is people wonder, disclosing issues on your home. Should I disclose that I had, a water seepage in my home 2 years ago? There was damage in my property. I'm feeling uncomfortable of really disclosing that. This is absolutely something you must disclose. That can come back to bite you in the future. And so I would also suggest having a property condition statement or some sort of statement that explains, what your issues have been in the past and the items that work and don't work. You're better off always disclosing any, property issues. Skip to the next page. And so buyers, you're going to get a lot of calls. Are you getting qualified buyers? Are you getting unqualified buyers? So make sure that the buyer who is making an offer on your home is qualified. They should be able to send you an approval letter from their lender, and that will show you that they are approved. There is a difference between approval and a qualified buyer. A qualified buyer is someone who has been preliminarily approved for a loan, but an pre-approval buyer is someone who's been completely approved. Credit has been pulled. They are ready to go. And as a private seller, it's sometimes hard to keep your emotions in check. It is your home. You have lived in it for at least several years. And so it's sometimes hard to keep your emotions in check. Just remember to step back a little bit. Try to keep yourself outside of the transaction and look at things objectively. And if you can't, it's always a good idea to have someone that you're friends with or family with that is a little more objective. And timing yourself. People wonder when should be a good time to really do that. And of course, we're now in the peak season. It's super busy. It's a great time to be selling now. Our season probably really slows down in November and December and starts picking up in January. And I'm going to let Nate talk to you about the last one, which is staging your home for today's buyer. He's going to get into good information there. So how do you show a home in today's climate? COVID, we are in a situation here where we really need to be cautious and protect our buyers and protect our sellers. So the buyer is already online. By the time they have called you for a showing, they've already made the decision that they like your home. And that's just simply because of today's internet and the luxury of having beautiful photos and videos out there. You can have the buyers drive by the home, make sure they like the neighborhood, and then tour the home with the agent. A seller can go into the home and get on FaceTime or on Zoom with a buyer and kind of tour the home with them so that they don't actually need to tour the home in person. And then an in-person tour, of course, can always be arranged. And now I'm going to hand this over to Nate, and he is going to talk to you about home staging. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Mike, you want to go? That was too good. I don't want to follow that up.
That's a hard lead. Yeah, that's a good one.
Before I talk about the value of home staging, I want to let you know, if you're not familiar with what home staging is, home staging is really trying to get your property, like hitting the ground running before it's for sale, by trying to appeal to as many people as possible and try to sell it faster and for more money. What staging does is just gets the home ready for, I guess, to be more welcoming, to ensure that we're getting the potential buyer to envision themselves living there. So we'll get into more into some of the do's and don'ts, but first of all, the value of home staging. As you can see, 59% of agents saw home staging increase dollar value seller receives. That's over half. That's crazy. There's a lot of times we'll see homeowners, they'll get their money back and then some. So your return on investment is really good. It's a no-brainer. And 39% greatly decreased time spent on the market. You're putting it on the market to get rid of it as fast as possible. Staging is going to help do that, of course, versus, let's say, your neighbors that's for sale that's not staged or prepared. Also, you can see 29% increased buyers offer by 1 to 5%, which you're going to make more money. You're going to get your money back for, if you even pay for staging. We're going to go through some tips on what you can do yourself, of course.
I got a quick question.
Yep.
So you have quite a few listed properties on the market right now that are staged. So tell me a little bit about how long, if a home is staged, from your own personal statistics, how long are your properties that are staged? How long are they on the market?
So it's a great question. The properties that are staged, or that are at 150 to 420 range, they sell within, if not the first day, in between the first day and the first month. So that's the goal. Get rid of it as fast as possible. It's a game changer, as you're going to see in some photos here, before and afters of properties, and then some of the services that we provide as well.
Okay. I'm going to flip the page. All right.
So on this page here, this is if you're like me and just want to pay someone to do this stuff for you, the landscaping or whatever it might be. This is where Design That Sells comes into play. We do 2 categories. We can, if you don't live there and it's a vacant home, we can come in and bring in all of our own furniture and decor for you and set it all up. The first month is roughly $600 to $700. That includes the rent and the staging and the takedown, all of that. That's the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, a bathroom or 2. And then if for some reason it's still on the market, the second month is just, you're basically renting the furniture. It's pretty rare that we go into that, into that second or third month, but it does happen. The other option is a redesign where myself or my team or all of us come into your home and we'll use your existing furniture and just kind of rearrange it, declutter. Again, if you just don't have time and you're busy, we can do that for you. So $75 an hour to come through and move your furniture around, again, declutter, depersonalize, all that kind of stuff.
And there is a suggestion of how much should you spend getting your home ready for market? And that is 1% of the purchase price. So when you are thinking about your purchase price, think about that this type of cost or expense is certainly just an investment that at the end of the closing table, you'll see the results.
Yep. So here we have one of our properties that we had staged a couple of months ago. The previous owner had their furniture in there, decided to take that out and put our furniture in there and stage it. As you can see the difference, the angle of the camera is when you walk into the home. So you just see it's warm, it's inviting, you can envision yourself living there. And again, it doesn't cost that much. The home sold, I believe, within the month, if I remember right. But it definitely has that wow factor from before staging to after staging.
Yeah. I mean, anything that you can do to grab the buyer's attention is huge.
Yeah. So we're going to get into some things here that that you could take care of as well to get your home ready if you're living there. First impression is huge. Curb appeal. When you drive up to the home, give it a haircut, mow the lawn, trim the hedges, maybe bring in some flowers that add a little bit of color. And then also when you walk into the home, of course, your whole home should be clean, but that first impression, you want that, wow, I want to write an offer today and for more than the listed price, right?
You know, and I want to add too is that from the exterior, if there are minor fixes or even major fixes that you should be doing on the exterior that can be apparent to a buyer by just driving by your property, highly encourage you to make sure you do those repairs.
The other quick thing on this one is the smells. So we've went into some homes and staged some properties where that first impression, if it doesn't smell good, that's an immediate turnoff for the potential buyers. So just make sure your home smells good. Bake some cookies or put some Febreze somewhere. Right, Mike?
Put it everywhere.
This here, again, what you can do, easy little things, declutter and depersonalize. Maybe take a picture of your room and look at the picture, show a friend or family member, and you'll kind of feel what needs to be taken out. You want good flow in there. You want the home to feel bigger. So get rid of that extra stuff. Maybe it's that extra recliner that's just blocking a walk path. Just need nice flow through the house. And then depersonalize. People want to envision themselves living there. They don't necessarily want to see what's going on in your life. So just make sure you take all that down, or most of it anyway.
Definitely.
All these pictures that we're showing here are properties that we've had staged or are staged currently, just as an FYI. I know they look so good, like they're out of a magazine, but no, that's what Design That Sells did.
And were these done by a professional photographer?
Yeah, most of them were. Some we do photos once in a while, but we're good, but there's definitely other photographers that are great that can handle that. This is something that you can do as a homeowner as well, is better lighting. There's a lot of properties that don't have can lights or recessed lighting or lamps. It's very dark and dingy in there. So add some lamp lighting. It just feels, again, more warm or warmer, I should say. And then also light fixtures. Sometimes those can be very distracting if it's a pendants or hanging over the dining set. I mean, that's eye level, so you see that. It's a very inexpensive piece that you can change from Lowe's, Menards, and just give it an updated current look. And then professional photography or video. That's a game changer. Most people look at the homes they're gonna go physically look at online first. So it's very important that you grab them immediately on whatever site, realtor.com or whatever it might be.
You can see sometimes just by going on realtor.com or on my website, just see who is a private seller and who might be a listed seller. You can tell the difference. Most of the photos are a darker photo. So it really is all about hiring a professional. Do the investment, might be $200, might be $300 for the photographer. Contact an agent, a friend of yours, ask who they use, but highly, highly recommend both of those, the better lighting and the photography.
Another thing that you can do, for yourself is there's a lot of hard surfaces. Bring in some rugs to absorb sound, add some warmth in there. Again, define spaces like the living room space versus the dining room space versus kitchen, etc. Just because there's a lot of homes out there that there's no carpet, there's just hard surface everywhere. And again, that brings in some warmth too. Bring in natural materials that will, again, just make it feel cozy. We are in North Dakota. Bring in some color, whether it's real or fake plants. Make sure they're the nice looking fake plants. There's some ugly ones out there for sure.
And I think this kind of really talks to that when a buyer walks into a home, that they feel really welcomed.
Yeah.
And that'll be warm temperature, a warmer temperature, maybe about 70 degrees isn't too bad. If they walk into an ice cold house, it just doesn't feel, as welcoming. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Another
thing that you can do, of course, is the master bedroom. Again, the buyer, obviously that's going to be their room. That's kind of their getaway, potentially. You're going to be in there a lot. So just make sure like the bed's made. If you have a whole bedroom set in there, let's say a chest, a mirror, a armoire, a dresser, take some of those pieces out so the room feels bigger for you. Okay.
I was just wondering this too, like for window treatments, and window treatments aren't that expensive to replace. What's your thoughts?
I would definitely do window treatments. Again, it just softens up the room, cozier, warmer, like we've already been talking about. It just adds another layer of just more of a design feel and just, again, more welcoming.
And if you had, maybe drips from 5 years ago, maybe they're a little dingy, might be a good time to get some fresh, clean, new drapes.
Or just take them down if you don't want to get new ones, just take them down. I see a lot that just need to go away. Yeah. So some of the top do's and don'ts of home staging, we already kind of talked about: spruce up curb appeal, giving the lawn a haircut, touch up paint, and trimming the bushes, whatever it might be. The next one is just clean. There's some houses that, let's say it's the exact same house, everything's the same. One house is clean, one house is messy. Obviously, you're gonna be more attracted to the home that's clean, even though they're the exact same house. So just make sure you clean your house. Another one is just neutralize your decor. Some homes might have a lot of pattern or color or things competing or busy furniture. Tone down the colors. Just again, you want to appeal to as many buyers as possible. You might love that, but the next person might not. So again, just neutralize your decor.
I am going to add just a personal opinion here. If I have a seller who's asked me, should I paint this room? It's turquoise. I would say paint the room. It's so inexpensive.
Yep.
And a neutral color certainly will help the buyer feel like, they could see themselves, being in that room, especially if they don't like turquoise.
Yeah.
Paint is so inexpensive.
I love burnt orange.
Yeah.
Right? 1000% paint too.
Yeah.
It's very inexpensive to do. Most people know how to paint. Just a game changer in that way too. Don't take it personal. Again, it's your home, you're living there, but the goal is to sell the property, the home. So a friend or family member, or if we come in and move things around or say, get rid of this, don't take it personal. Just remember the end goal is to get rid of and sell the property for as much money as possible and as fast as possible. So just listen to the professionals or, take some advice from some other people. Don't do major renovations. You probably won't get your money back on it, and it's not necessary. Just do a small investment of staging or paint, and that's going to go a long ways already just by doing that. You'll find a lot of success just doing that.
I'd just like to add, major renovations are okay if you don't plan to sell in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I would not be spending more than 1% of the purchase price on anything to prepare your home for sale.
Yep, completely agree with that. Don't think the home will sell itself. You got to do the necessary things if you're really motivated to sell it, whether it's marketing, the photography, putting it on social media outlets. Use the internet, Facebook, you name it, Bizman, a real estate agent, of course. yeah, that's really all I got on that one. But
Yeah.
this, again, it's not, people aren't just going to come knocking at your door.
And remember too, and maybe you don't remember, but the stats are, 60 days on average days on market if it's a listed property. So the statistics I have are for listed properties, of course. If it's a private seller, the days on market are going to be a lot longer. So remember that you could be on the market for 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 months, and you have to keep up your home for that long. And so just don't forget to always remember when you leave in the morning, you got to make sure your home is spotless, ready to go.
Yep. Don't buy new decor or furniture, since you're going to be moving anyway. It's probably not going to fit in the next home. Unless you do want to buy new furniture, you can come see me at Zimmerman's Furniture, because that's where I'm at as well. But other than that, don't go buy new decor or furniture.
Nice plug.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. You've been living in your home for 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 years. You need some outside eyes, whether it's friends or family, or if you hire us to come in and help out, you just need an outside, just to see it in a whole different light. You might have had the same arrangement and furniture for the past 30 years. You need some new eyes.
And, I'll say this, and I didn't mention this as one of my tips, but whether it's Mike, your home inspector, or me, your real estate agent, or Nate, your home stager, never be afraid to ask for help. Even if you haven't hired them, they would be happy to help answer your questions.
Definitely.
And so do reach out to those professionals, because they do know the inside tips and tricks for staging, home inspection, and real estate.
Oh, that's it. Mike, follow that up. Good luck. Joe and I just killed it. Good luck.
You guys are professionals, I'll tell you. So one of the main reasons of having...
Come on, line one.
One of the main reasons of having a pre-listing inspection is to flag large repairs so you can make those repairs prior to listing it. An inspection can also prepare a home for FHA and VA appraisal. And that really can hold up the process of moving your house. So we want to be able to catch those things. So again, inspection depends. Requests depend on the type of financing, FHA, VA, and conventional. FHA and VA are financial programs that are government-based. So there are requirements that are need to be met in order for that to be done. Conventional financing has less restrictions and has the ability to move through as long as it's fairly structurally sound. Findings that can hold up your loan can be on the exterior paint. If it's property that is before 1978, lead-based paint is a concern. So anything that is loose or chipping can be a lead-based issue. The exposed wood can also be an issue with that. Beyond that, it can be the integrity of the vinyl, the integrity of the steel. It has to be complete. We want to make sure that there aren't any dings or damages on the siding. And safety and insurability is another thing. So we have to be able to get insurance on the property. So if your roof is in bad condition, the insurance company isn't going to cover it, and now you're not going to be able to have the loan for the buyer. So we need to make sure that we're catching those things and taking care of those. On the interior, when you think about FHA and VA, one of the good guidelines is just to think about a 97-year-old boy, trying to keep him safe, which includes like electrical. The electrical has to be intact, it has to be covered, and there can't be any open wires, any open junction boxes. Those are things that need to be taken care of for you. Function and safety is where the windows have to be able to be opened in the bedrooms for safety, for fire escape and all that other stuff. And smoke detectors, they have to be working for government funded programs. So we need to make sure that we're taking care of those things, and I, as an inspector, I would be able to find those things for you and guide you into getting those repaired. And for heaven's sake, use a realtor. I mean, and in home inspections, I come across for sale by owners, and they are very loose and very lost in the process, where the guidance of a realtor is so much of a great thing to have.
Yeah. It's just reassuring to have someone watching your back throughout the entire process.
It cuts down on your liability. It gives you full direction. It gives you that confidence of, you know, someone who does it all day long and is comfortable in those things and has the time. Doing it for sale by owner, you know, you have to work and you're trying to sell your house and you're trying to show it. It's
a lot.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So liability wise, explain like what your liability is on some of these findings versus the seller.
You know, if there's hidden liabilities, like if there's history of like a water leak, we talked about that earlier.
Okay.
And the realtor has specific forms that are used to fill out if there has been past issues and all that things. If that is not disclosed and you have a water issue and they go and pull up the carpet and they find that the tack strips are all rotten out and there's mold behind there, then they have the ability to go back on the seller. Where as a realtor, you have those forms that will be able to have them recognize that there has been that history and that they're comfortable with that, and you can discuss that.
Okay, yeah, yep, okay. All right.
So in the garage, the garage has to be functional, and the amount of pressure that pushes down before it reverses back up has to be within 8 to 12 pounds of pressure, and the safety beams have to work and be in good condition. Water management, again, we're looking at leaks and mold. If there's any signs of any of that history, then that is something that needs to be disclosed or whichever.
Right. Okay.
Structure, when it comes to foundation, we need to make sure that that is in good condition. You know, we look at the foundation for cracks, movement. And vertical cracks are usually very common. Diagonal cracks usually is an indicator that the downspout hasn't been extended out very well and there's a little bit of shifting and stuff. But the horizontal cracks are actually where the foundation is actually moving in on itself. And that can be a structural concern. And with that can be huge liabilities if that isn't found or anything like that. So just want to mention, in regards to these major repairs, you know, that's the job of a home inspector, is to try to expose any major repairs that might cost, you know, the buyer money. But in regards to, let's say, for example, the foundation, the real estate agent you're working with knows the people that can help you fix those repairs. Exactly. And then I've got my bank of individuals who will be able to help with those things.
Yeah.
Tripping hazards can be an FHA or VA concern. So in driveways, sidewalks, all of those things, even in garages, there have been times when we've had to have those things corrected just for safety. When I do a pre-listing inspection, I do give you a full report. And then if there's anything that you are interested in having fixed during that time before, you know, the actual list or whatever, then go ahead and do that. Have me back over. I re-inspect those things, and then I would list that in the report. Those have been repaired, and that gives you that pathway of there has been an issue, it has been addressed, and you have the proof here. As far as the walkthrough for the buyer, what I do is I just charge, you know, $50 for that. My normal inspection is $300. Pre-sale or pre-listing inspections, I charge $250, and then the other $50 I get from the walkthrough from the buyer. So I do spend an hour going through talking about not only the changes and progress that you have made in the property, but also educating them about the property to make them feel comfortable and solid in the property. And again, having the pre-inspection done just makes the process so much easier, because the inspection has been done. If the client is good with that, then they just move forward with that. It just eases that negotiation. It also gets your house ready for FHA or VA financing, and it just makes it so much easier.
And you know, already the whole process is pretty stressful. And so having that pre-listing inspection before it actually goes on the market alleviates a lot of the anxiety that's attached to a home inspection from the seller's perspective. Because I can't tell you how many times a seller has spoken to me about that they're super nervous about the home inspection, how should they prepare for it, which of course I tell them all about how to take care of that and to do that. But if it's done already, they just feel so much more comfortable going into it.
Like I said, having that outside profession of having a realtor for guidance just makes everything move so much smoother. So like I said, have a pre-listing home inspection. Do check your exterior of your home, chipping paint, exposed wood,
Missing gutters.
Clean out your gutters. Those are always things that come up. Make sure it's insurable, and as far as the safety, and we want to make sure that railings are in good condition. The deck wood is solid. If there's damaged wood, if there's structural concerns, then that's things that we're going to find.
And as Nate had mentioned about making a trim, like a haircut on the home, trimming back those bushes is important too. We don't want to have bushes and branches touching any part of the home, especially the roof.
Exactly. Your roof doesn't grow back, your trees do. So that's just one of those things.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, sure. And then make sure all the utilities are on. There's times when, it hasn't been used for a while, the water shut off, we have to turn that on or whatever. And then have access to all the different parts of the home. We do have to look in the attic. So if you have the closets kind of cleaned out, it cuts down on the possibility of getting some insulation in your clothes. And what I do is I take a sheet and I put that over your clothes, so then it doesn't get in your clothes or anything like that. But as far as accessibility, as a home inspector, we're not able to move any personal property. So it does make it a lot easier to access if we have that ability. And then, when we're doing the pre-listing, we're here to do a job, and we want to keep our focus on our job, and just give us a little bit of room, give us space to be able to do what we need to do. And we'll do the best that we can for you. Yeah.
We always ask the sellers to leave for the inspection. So it's just a courtesy, and then the home inspector isn't under pressure having a seller kind of watch everything they do.
Yeah.
So that sums it up. We're all still here. Does anyone have any questions? You can unmute yourself. And I'm not sure
Deb.
where to find.
There are no questions at this time, but if they have questions, they can contact you after the video will be uploaded to Facebook.
Sounds good. So the next screen is just our contact information. Here you go. Reach out to us. Thank you so much for coming. And we plan to do more of these in the future. Let your friends and family know about them. I will send out a recorded version to anyone who registered or anyone who's on Facebook. Just let me know. You can message me on Facebook and I will send you the information. So.
And thank you, Joellen, for inviting me and us
Welcome.
And sharing in this.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
Good times.
we are an awesome team. Thank you, everyone.